It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. We will call the Common Council meeting to order. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Fargo.
Here.
Romano, absent. Weigel. Here. Bachman.
Present.
Adamson.
Present.
In front of you are the minutes from our last meeting on February 10th. The only, I think the only change I had two changes. One was under the youth council, Kyla has an H at the end of her first name. And the second one actually had to do with you, Ryan, and that's when we were talking about chickens there. The very last line of the, I guess, last page of the minutes, under your section, it said, two cities he has worked for, Jasper and Terre Haute. You have not worked for Jasper, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I can remember.
So, but you contacted Jasper?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so that was just a clarification I had. Were there any other changes or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve with noted changes?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tad, second by Brent. Further discussion? All those in favor should be the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. Next up is ordinance 2026-6. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
I'll make motion. Yes. Second.
Okay, motion by Brent, seconded by Ryan. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. Please read ordinance 2026-6 by title only.
Ordinance 2026-6, vacation of public way.
Okay, so again, Mr. Trier is here. If anybody has any questions for him, anybody have any questions for him?
Motion we approve it.
Okay.
Second.
A motion to approve by Ryan, seconded by, I think, Tad, right?
Yep.
Okay, motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. Okay? So,
We've connected, he knows.
he knows the process. Cool.
Yep.
Thank you, sir,
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott.
Next up, thanks, Scott. Next up is ordinance 2026-7. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
Second.
Motion by Ryan. So, okay, I saw Ryan's hand first. So motion by Ryan, seconded by Dan. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. Please read ordinance 2026-7 by title only.
Ordinance 2026-7, an ordinance adopting formal rules of behavior for attendees at meetings.
So again, we had good conversation about this last time, but effectively this puts rules in place for both the yep, I'll get there, I apologize for getting my official title. The presiding officer and the public, and kind of how public comment period will go, things to that effect, so.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Brent, to approve. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up is ordinance 2026-8. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Tad. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Please read ordinance 2026-8 by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-8, an ordinance restating and amending chapter 100 of Title 9 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Columbia City, Indiana.
Leslie.
So this is, as we spoke about or talked about in retreat, this is to be able to add a fee for the street closures. We did have some discussion, open discussion, just dialogue at the Board of Works, so that we could kind of at least mull it around for a couple weeks before we come to a final determination of what that fee will be. So as you'll see in the ordinance, we're not stating that fee because we're trying to move away from that. It's my understanding from Marcia, instead of having fees in the ordinances. So that will be listed separately once it's decided upon.
Because I think we're just gonna do like kind of standard fees across the board.
Yeah.
So all the different things you sign up for.
Well, so the Board of Works kind of talked about it. I think where we were leaning, correct me if I'm wrong, But I think where we were leaning was kind of do a per block fee. So if you have one block of downtown, it's $25 or something, right? If you have a block or 2 blocks, then it's gonna be 50 or something like that, that just has some kind of a standardized fee. With the idea though, that if you're gonna do the north and south Chauncey plus the 100 block of West Van Buren, that you automatically have to do the 200 block of West Van Buren, just because there's no outlet for cars as they come in, there's no outlet to turn around.
Is there a time frame on it? So is that by event? If you have a 4-hour event, is it different for somebody that has a 3-day event?
It's a good question. I think we, in our conversation, we set aside Old Settlers because it's kind of its own beast. And they actually do compensate us for multiple things already. First Friday is already worked out an agreement with Leslie on janitorial services and stuff for their events. So we did not, to your point, we did not differentiate between half-day event, a full-day event, things like that. I would assume, though, I don't want to speak out of turn for the other Board of Works member here, but I would assume if it's a multi-day event, then that would be the times per day. So $25 for a block. If you're having it 3 days, now it's $75 a block or whatever the case is. So I don't know. We didn't get into that depth.
I know we spoke a little bit about this at retreat. We were talking about the police and the fire department. Are there events where they are asked, other than them just gracing them
Yes.
out of the goodness of their heart,
Yes.
which is perfectly fine?
Sure.
Are there any events that request police and fire, and if so, how do we go about charging them or changing that?
Yeah, so if there's additional police coverage or fire coverage in that matter, I think that definitely could be something that could be worked into that fee schedule. That, again, wasn't necessarily contemplated, but Gary, do you want to comment on that? And Tom, I'll go to you after that, but.
Yeah, like Old Settlers, you know, we have to close down every intersection. We have a police officer pretty much at every intersection down Main Street, Veterans Marathon. We have multiple police officers come in off duty, so it's overtime. So it was just something that, I know we did talk about that at the retreat as well. So again, like he said, you know, the guys enjoy going downtown, you know, but if they get a call or something, then they can't. So if they want police presence down there, then I think there should be an additional fee.
Sure.
just
Well,
because-
and I'm certainly not opposed to giving those services, but on the backs of the taxpayers, if it's a private organization that's having something like that, I don't think that's kosher.
Right.
And that's
Well,
something we should look at, that they should reimburse, whether it be an overtime rate for you two or whatever else. However that may be, it should be compensated somehow, and just my opinion.
Right,
So-
and I'm not disagreeing, I agree, because, again, if they're downtown, they get a call, they have to run out. So if they actually request an officer
They're
downtown,
working there,
Yes.
quote unquote. Right?
Absolutely,
And
and I agree, If they're asking for additional coverage at the event, to have somebody actually watching over the event, then I 100% agree that they should compensate
If
the
it's,
city
if
for
it's an
that.
intersection closure for 10 minutes, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
we get that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So,
and that has happened, Mayor. I mean, we had a few of the downtown events request a police officer, and they paid the rate of what everybody
Yeah.
else pays, so.
I think that's very reasonable to
Yeah.
request, right?
Right, so if they
So-
request it, then
Yeah.
they pay the,
But for events that are happening downtown that, you know, our officers go and do their rounds, they do a walkthrough, they go and do their rounds, I think we can all agree that's
They
good.
are, I mean,
But to
Right.
your point though, if they're asking for someone to be at the facility or in that block or in that 2 blocks or whatever for the extended period of time, they 100% should be paying for that officer, I agree.
and they have done that.
Yeah,
At least I know one event has done.
but I
Well,
think it's
Gary,
important to put it into.
are they paying the officer directly?
Yeah, they pay the officer directly.
So they're paying them as an off-duty officer, so it's
And that's the same way, I apologize, but that's the same way that we do for like
If they go to the Van Buren.
the banks, or if they're gonna
The wedding
do it,
detail,
they do,
basketball.
that's the extra patrol they can sign up for, and they get compensated directly from the individual.
Right. Now, the Veterans Marathon and Old Settlers is different.
Yeah,
Because we've never got anything from them, so we just suck that up and eat it, so.
but we don't station people there, so to speak, correct?
Yes, we do.
At
Well, maybe we should
intersections, we
look at
do.
that.
At
Wait,
intersections, we do.
for the parade or for the event, cause there's 2 separate things.
For the parade.
For the parade.
For the parade.
You're not talking about the whole weekend,
But
I'm
you're-
talking about Old Settler, the whole week.
He's saying the whole event, like
From
we
the
don't
time
have
it opens
someone
to the
into
time it stops.
Midway.
No, so like on Saturday night of the parade, we have all the guys stay around a couple hours, cause it's super busy downtown. So the guys that come in, stay a few more hours just to make
I get
sure
that.
it clears out and stuff.
But again, to the point is, you don't have someone staying on the midway throughout the
Right,
entirety
we're
of
not hiring
the
the
week.
police to stay there
Yes.
from
Yes.
5 to midnight
No,
every day.
no.
Yes,
Right, okay.
100%, yeah. Okay.
And so, I'm sorry, Ted.
No, you go ahead.
Is that something we should put in here, or is it just, that's the
No.
way?
Well, if they're being paid directly by the individual with the officer, I don't think that's a fee schedule we would create unless we wanted to take that in-house, which I don't know that we want to.
I don't want to.
I think the guys would rather, correct me if I'm wrong,
Pay-
pay from
pay
the,
direct.
it's a little cleaner for them.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's more direct, yeah.
Okay.
Plus it keeps us out of it. It's,
Yeah.
Have we thought about, well, the reason I'm asking is it came up with us, if an officer gets hurt, he's being paid or she's being paid by Star Bank, and they get hurt off duty, who covers the insurance? We had that happen, they filed a lawsuit against the city of Terre Haute, the city of Terre Haute had to cover them for their medical bills. So I just,
It's a good
I
question.
mean, I hope it never happens,
right.
but it's got the potential, and so it's just something that we should mull over and kind of have a standard. If this happens, if you're being paid by X, Y, and Z and not by the city, what's the avenue if you get hurt? Is that something that's covered on theirs, is it something that's covered on ours? How's that work? So,
Yeah,
just-
I
and
was-
food for thought.
Right, I assume it'd be the same way, we'd probably, because they're still representing, they got our
That's
uniform.
what I think too, but I'm not
Police
attorney.
car.
Our uniform,
Our police
our
car,
badge,
right.
our
Right.
So
firearm.
still working kind of on
our-
behalf of the city.
Yeah, for sure.
No different than the police versus fire football we had, where there was injuries.
Right.
Yeah.
You end up paying that.
Tom, I know we focused primarily on police here, but do you have additional things you'd like to?
It's the same thing as Gary, when we fill in intersections as well for both of those events. And, or for a lot of events when they don't have enough guys. It's the same scenario.
Yeah, yeah.
You pay people.
But you're not paying guys to come in off duty, it's your guys that are here.
No, they're
No,
being
we're
paid.
paying guys to come in because we don't have enough guys to allow to go out. So we have to hire guys on overtime to come in and do it.
So if a private organization has a race and they want the streets shut down, and the police needs help, taxpayers are paying for our firefighters to go out and block intersections due to this private organization having a race.
Yes.
They're paying for the police department as well.
Oh, so they're getting paid. I asked if it was on taxpayer money.
It
It was
is,
on taxpayers. Ours is overtime to the fire department, through the fire department to come in and block those
So
intersections.
who pays for it? The event, the people who hold the event?
no,
City.
The city does.
same as the police department though.
For the,
Like the Old Settlers Day Parade, the city is paying for those officers to come in and work overtime. It is not Old Settlers paying for it, it's the
Right.
city.
but to your point earlier, Brian, I think, again, if it's, so for Old Settlers, the Old Settlers Parade is what, 2 hours? Start to finish,
Yeah.
let's say, right?
Now.
You know, that's very different than a 4, 6, or 8 hour event, obviously, during the day. And that's the longest parade we have. Majority of those parades, I'm thinking homecoming parade, lighted Christmas parade. I mean, you could say Veterans Marathon, although that appears that that's
The Memorial Day run,
the more Memorial Day run. But again, we're talking about
right,
very short times. Like Old Settlers is the longest time frame from a parade perspective.
correct.
So, you know, again, how do you parse that out of a 15-minute homecoming parade versus a 2-hour Old Settlers parade?
I mean, my goal is not to make money off everybody by
Sure.
any means.
I agree.
I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
we're not spending $100,000 a year on the back of taxpayers.
Sure.
To pay overtime for private events, that shouldn't happen,
Yeah,
especially to that tune, in my opinion.
yeah. No, I agree. I think we're on the same page when it comes to that. And again, I think that's where we've differentiated if they're being called in specifically for the event. And by that, I mean the actual event, not a parade. Parade's kind of separate. But if it's an event where they want to have protection or things like that, then that's on their dime. If it's a blocking of streets for parades, I mean, that is a public safety thing that we do. So it's, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you though. I hear what you're saying, and
Another food for thought, you know, the Dora thing, when that comes in, you might wanna think about having some officers downtown too, cause if that starts happening and people are
at
getting.
Dora, yeah. But that shouldn't actually, well, it should, what should happen with DORA is that it's more structured, and it's more of a, to ensure people aren't being overserved
Right.
necessarily, but I get what you mean.
Just food for thought.
Okay, so in front of you is ordinance 26-8.
I think Tad
I had a question.
Oh, yes, Tad, I'm sorry.
So, if the fee isn't figured out yet, or is it structured,
Right.
how do we pass the ordinance without that, or is it just, do we have to pass something additional?
So
Or-
what you're doing effectively with the ordinance is establishing that there is a fee. That's what you're
Got
doing.
it, okay.
And then the fee is effectively passed by Board of Works. So it's the same thing with utility
Got it.
fees and other things like
Okay,
that.
I understand, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make, I just wanted to understand in case someone asked me.
Sure, I think that's very fair.
Yep.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. What is different about this than what the previous ordinance was? Says an amended, right?
So there was no reference to that a fee will be imposed, or could be
Okay.
imposed. But we've added the verbiage in that there will now be a fee for the street closings.
Okay.
And then up to Board of Works to determine that fee, and it'll be on a fee schedule.
Fair enough, that's all I
Yep.
needed to know.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Ryan to approve, seconded by Tad. Further discussion. All those in favor should with the usual sign. It is unanimous of those present. We'll move it to second reading at the next meeting. Department head reports. Kelly.
We're ready for spring to hit. Worked some more snow. Sunday had a crew come in due to slick roads, and then myself and 4 guys came in Monday morning and put some more material down. So hopefully we're on our way to spring here pretty quick. Had some street name signs. Some of the ones we purchased a while ago are getting pretty faded, so we've been trying to replace them as we can. Doing some road and sign maintenance also. Running the sweeper as much as we can when weather allows. And then investigated some sewer tap locations with our televising truck this week, and then our sewer truck's still down, so are Brown Equipment. It's got a bad hydraulic pump, and we're hopeful that we can get one to replace that thing. And then the leak pile back in Morse's Park, we had a company come in and grind that, so it's available to the public at their convenience.
Questions of Kelly? Thank you. Tom.
We're currently testing out some Motorola radios for their 800 radios. We've tested, I believe, 3 other brands, and next Board of Works and Council will be giving a report back on our findings. 101 is still awaiting for repairs for its coolant and oil leaks. Our mechanic had some medical issues, and he was not able to get those done. Live burns that I talked about at the last meeting that were last Tuesday went very well. That went in conjunction with our Fire Instructor 2 class, which is now complete. We got a bunch of our younger guys through that course. That way they can help give live fire burns training out, and a lot of other different types of training. We did that live fire last Tuesday in conjunction with the academy, the fire academy that they put on at the high school, and that went really, really well. Our breathing air compressor is still awaiting. I talked at the last council and Board of Works meetings in reference to a computer that Hoosier Fire had found and was sending off to have flashed. Justin from Hoosier Fire will be here on March 4th to take a look at that. And we're working with Raynar Door. Well, we did work with Raynar Door. 3 of our 4 garage door openers down in the station here had 25-year-old openers, and we found out that we couldn't get parts for them anymore. We did take quotes to get those replaced. Believe this is shocking to me, to have those replaced with similar openers. There was Leslie, correct me if I'm wrong on this, a $10,000 difference to have 3 garage door openers replaced. So yeah, I found that to be shocking. So we obviously went with the least expensive equal garage door openers that we have currently. So
Okay.
other than that,
Questions of Tom? Thank you, Matt.
Park board last night went over some estimates of the dog park fencing that we had. There's a couple members that have some questions, so I'm meeting back up with the contractors out there to go over their questions with them before they decide. Baseball and softball sign up will be until March 7th. We got our pool pump back, so we can get that in, because it'll be here sooner than you think. The guy's been working on Dreamland Pavilion, so we can have it rented. We're hoping to have that rented sometime in March, start renting that back out. And had a contractor come in, or having one come in, to take a look at the tiles on the pool. The grout gets wore by the chemicals and that, and then the water gets back behind, freeze thaw, blows them out. We had a corner that blew out last year, right before the end of the year. So we just kind of let that set and did the rest of the season. And then we've got the guy coming in to repair those major defects that we have. And then we're gonna be talking to him about how to make the grout and stuff ready for the following year. That grout lasts about 6 years, and we're on the 7th year. So it's something that we just have to keep maintaining.
Questions of Matt? Thank you. Gary?
All right, I know each meeting I report on the officers down at the academy, Blocker, Didion, and Garmin, but sometimes when you go down to the academy, you get lost in the shuffle and you get forgotten about, so I wanna make sure they're not forgotten about. They're in their 8th week, and this week, they had their specialty weeks, which is called breakout weeks, firearms, emergency vehicle operations, defensive tactics, so they're all doing well there. Actually, it was last weekend, this week too, so they're doing different ones, so they're doing a good job there, passing with flying colors, so proud of them. Dispatch had a few minor equipment issues, which are pretty easy fixes at low to no cost. We did have Motorola, they gotta come in and fix a couple things, like a light, and one of the monitors are out, but we don't know if it's the monitor or cable or what. We've tried to fix it ourselves, but so they're gonna come in, but that's all under the maintenance contract, so that shouldn't cost the city any money, so good things are going there. It's nice to have nice equipment and under warranty still, so again, thanks to council and Board Works for that. We had the Lego event, which we call it the Connecting Our Community One Brick at a Time, which was a huge success. A lot of families enjoyed it, made a lot of comments on Facebook. The officers really enjoyed it. We had enough officers show up that we had an officer at each table plus a couple guys floating around. So proud of our guys there for showing up for that. Again, just lots of things going on, day-to-day operations. Warm weather, that kind of brought out some people, so that kind of stirred up some business for us.
Questions of Gary?
Fortunately, it wasn't a full moon also, right?
Right.
Yes. Thank you. Mike?
The PLC at the booster station has been replaced, and it's up and running, and everything's running back on auto. There is a pump down in the booster station that runs 90% of the time. It runs, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Most of the time, the only time it doesn't run is if another pump is called to run because they open a fire hydrant or anything. So it's got a vibration in it, so I went ahead and ordered a new one with the pump and the motor, so that when you replace it, have this and rebuilt, ready as a standby, because it's usually about 4 years is all we get out of that, running as constant as that is. And then also we had a aeration fan on the aeration unit out at the water plant that went down. We've been having problems with it for several years, but it was only in the winter time when the real freezing weather it would kick off. But last time it wasn't able to, reset it. It just kept blowing the breaker. So we took it off, and it's in being repaired. Hopefully we'll have it back in a week and have it back up running.
Questions of Mike? Thank you. Mike?
Digester patch has been completed. The guy's done a great job on that, putting that in, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Because it was in, it never got any bigger. We got our last roof quote. Company was in yesterday, should have those by the end of the week. And then we'll start looking at those to see where we're at. And we made contact with our contract lab and also our engineer to continue to look at our ammonia issues that we've been having. So we're taking a little bit different approach on this and try to look at some inorganics and some nitrification inhibitors that could be possibly being dumped on us, causing our problems. So that's where we're at on that.
Questions of Mike? Thank you. Chip?
Kitchen is springing into action. Play on words.
Nice,
Uh,
well played.
We have Kat from the utilities office that's helping us, and I just wrote a note to get with you here a couple weeks. Tree letters are going out tomorrow for some trees removals. Amphitheater, we had a meeting this week, and survey should be completed next week. We got a construction timeline, so things are moving there. Marcia and I met with the EPA this week over Wayne Waste. They want to do more testing. The settlers, which is half of the group, do not want to pay for the testing, so we'll see from there. The Get the Lead Out team for Mike, working with them for a state revolving loan fund grant, which I said earlier, we make too much money, the city does, per person, and so it's gonna kind of mess with us. Still working on liquidating the jail, Smith, and the parking lot.
Questions of Chip? Thank you. Leslie?
Well, first of all, Mike showed up. Did you want to advise about the Board of Works approving your open position?
Yeah, I've got permission to replace an employee that was let go, so we're gonna open up interviews or applications for that.
Didn't want that to be missed. As I shared in Board of Works, I'm working with BSNA, spoke with Parker today to get in to look at all of our systems. We're gonna do a full day of training, looking at March 24th. Hopefully confirming that soon. We'll obviously get with the department heads. They're not all gonna need to be there for the whole day, but for the 2-hour increments that I feel that'd be imperative for them. So be there for that training to see if it's something that they could utilize if we bring all the software together. And then in 2 weeks, or I guess our next meeting, I will not be here, Sally will be here. I'll be in Plainfield and training, gotta get my hours in.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. A couple things for you to know. Number one, junk pickup. We have scheduled that for the week of April 27th. In the past, we've done 2 separate weeks. Now we're all doing it in 1 week. We think we can get it all accomplished in 1 week based on conversation with the trash hauler. So the week of April 27th. So we're telling everybody you have to have your stuff out on the curb by 6 a.m. on the 27th in order to ensure pickup. Because we're not sure exactly what end of the city they're going to start on. So, so that State of the City address is scheduled for March 13th. So obviously it is free to the public, but you have to RSVP to the chamber, and lunch is included in that. And then also we yesterday was really a good day from a legislative perspective for us. There was a really bad municipal election bill that died on the floor yesterday. That was good. There was a proposed amendment that would extend the maximum levy growth quotient for an additional year. That amendment was never called because of pressure by municipalities to their legislators, so that was a really good thing. We're making some real good progress on the local income tax pieces. So after a really tough legislative, and housing, the housing bill that was just absolute mess, was amended heavily yesterday, where it's all opt-in provisions instead of opt-out. So that's very good for us as well. So, and then like I said, lit is coming along. So what's been a really rough, hard legislative session is finally coming around to being at least neutral or maybe even somewhat positive for us. So that was a really big thing. Kudos to the AIM staff for all their work on that. Besides that, having some conversations regarding electric territory, and having multiple conversations on lots of other topics and things like that. As you may have remembered, I was supposed to be at our Indiana Municipal Power Agency legislative rally today, in DC. Sean is there because he took a different flight than I did. So, I did not end up making it. So, but with that being said, I know our IMPA team has done a great job and have been there and meeting with legislators to make sure that they understand ramifications of legislative policy changes for our municipal electric customers and for our utilities. So that's the whole purpose of Sean being there. And I've gotten some good updates from him as well. So with that, I think that's all I have right now. Dan?
Yeah, for the public out there that's having some water issues, please call city utilities so we can record it and go have our department go out and see what the situation is. Because just telling people and putting on Facebook that we've got brown water isn't fixing it until you call city utilities. We can put a work order out, record where it's at, so we can get the job done. They will hustle out and get it looked at before, as fast as they can. But I'm pretty well sick and tired of people sitting there beefing about it and then not calling the proper people so we can fix it. So please, call city utilities, put a work order out, and so we got a record of the location it's happening. So please, call city utilities so we can remedy the problem, if there is a problem.
Yeah, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I had lunch 2 weeks ago, I think, with the water staff out of the shop, and I think they told me every time they've gone out to those calls, they have opened up the well pit or the meter pit, excuse me, and they've gotten water out of it, and every time the water has been clear.
Yes.
So it's been inside the home has been the issue. Not saying that there hasn't been other issues, but generally speaking, when they've gone out, that's been the situation, and those residents have been educated at that moment. So I 100% agree with you. I am, with all due respect to the public, I'm so sick of hearing about it on social media, knowing full well that individuals are not calling our city utility office and reporting it and having them come out and try to fix the issue. So, I thank you for your comments. Tad?
I have nothing, except to agree with Dan.
Okay.
Because I've never seen anybody fix it through the computer.
No, that is true. That is true. Brent?
I have nothing.
Ryan? We have no audience
Mayor.
and we have no press, and Gary has one more thing.
On the junk pickup, can I
Yeah.
just remind people about, we're still wrapping mattresses,
Yes.
couches, stuff like
Yes,
that.
so we just put out today the guidelines for junk pickup. So yes, mattresses, anything upholstered basically has to be wrapped in plastic. It cannot be, everything cannot be more than 50 pounds. There's a certain length, all that stuff is because of truck and because of manpower and all that stuff from the trash company. Those larger things, the appliances, the tires, all that kind of stuff, you gotta call City Hall ahead of time. So please, 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 don't assume. Go onto our city website at columbiacity.net or get on our city Facebook page at City of Columbia City, Indiana, and look at all the regulations on junk pickup.
Because if it's not wrapped, they won't pick it up,
They
and
will
then
not.
it sits there, and
Yeah.
then we gotta come out.
And then it becomes an ordinance violation.
Right.
Okay,
So we do have.
yes.
So I think was the end date the 1st of May, Kelly? Because we're doing a
Yeah.
pickup on May 6th.
I think they have to call by May 1st.
May 1st, so
At noon.
any junkers that wanna go out between May 1st and May 6th.
Yeah.
You have free reign.
Have free reign.
Utilities are closed on the 5th, right?
Yes.
That Tuesday?
Yes.
So,
But they gotta call by the 1st anyways.
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
And a lot of those things, by the way, a lot of the things that you would put out for junk can be held, or can be actually taken to the recycle center. They can take a lot of that stuff as well. I don't know about the fees, but still. So, Tom, did you have something to say or not really?
No.
Okay.
Well, typically, they have the tire amnesty days.
Yes,
Where
we've
you
been
can
having
take the
those.
tires
Yep.
out for free.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for bringing the conversation, Gary.
Anything else for the good of the cause? Okay, we'll call ourselves adjourned. Thank you.
Gary?
So-